Please, I would like us to take these activities in place. We should always mute our mics when we are not speaking, and always remember to put on our mics when we are called, when we are meant to speak. And we should try and put on our videos so that we can see our beautiful faces. This helps to bring a lot of success to our meeting and also give it that physical vibes when we are in the meeting. Now, to welcome our president to the virtual lecture, I would like to introduce our amiable president. Sorry. Oluwatoyi Bolajoko. She's a corporate sales executive with over 5 years experience in the field of product proposition development. She worked for one of the leading financial institutions where she developed value-adding products targeted at women entrepreneurs. She's currently manages corporate sales in leading medical diagnostics company. Toyi is also a serial entrepreneur and has floated over 5 businesses in the last 10 years. Wow. She's a prolific speaker and a member of Toastmasters International, where she serves as president and vice president membership to 2 club chapters in Lagos. When she's not working or speaking, she loves to read great stories. She runs a blog where she tells inspirational stories that teaches in-depth values about life. She's passionate about change and impact. Fellow Toastmasters and amiable guests, join me as I welcome our president with a virtual clap. A real physical clap. Welcome to the virtual lecture, Madam President. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Josephine, our beautiful and ever warming, ever enchanting Sergeant at Arms. It's always a delight seeing you open the meetings and getting everyone in high spirits. Trust me, no one does it better than you do. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Good afternoon, guests. Good afternoon, guest speaker. It's so lovely seeing everyone here today. Yes, it's been a bit because the last meeting I was unavoidably absent, but I'm glad to be back. I'm better. I'm glad to see all our faces. I'm glad to be in another training for LEARNTOR Toastmasters. It's been an amazing week, and the month of June just started, and it occurred to me that 2021 has officially splitted into 2 halves. We are almost done with the first half of the year, and we are about entering into the second half of the year. This is such a great privilege to be alive and to be well and to have the ability to enjoy the little things of life. Speaking of life, I'd like us to take a moment to think about ourselves. I know that it's been a crazy week for Nigeria or UAR. It's really been a crazy week with everything happening, from Twitter being banned to the Senate considering a change of name, to the dollar rate that keeps increasing, to the insecurity. It can take a toll on your mental health. And one of the things I like to do when my mental health is being stressed is to count my blessings. I know it sounds like an irony, like what am I grateful for? Some people will say being a Nigerian alone is a disadvantage. Why should I be grateful? But I think that everyone should take out time and look at their lives. And even if you can, itemize the things that you have as a blessing. There's a quote that I like to read. It says, enjoy the little things For one day, you may look back and realize they were the big things. So you have your family, be thankful for that. You have a job, be thankful for that. You can put food on your table, be thankful for that. You are able to even eat the food you put on your table, be very grateful for that. You are able to join a Toastmasters meeting and work towards personal development, be really thankful for that. It's amazing the little things that the stress of this country can make us neglect. But I wouldn't want us to pay so much attention to what we cannot change. Rather, let us focus on the things that we have and really thank God and the universe that we have those things, because this is the only way for you to be able to have enough strength to push forward and to keep pushing. It comes from the right state of mind. If your mind is boggled, if your mind is stressed out, if your mind is really dampened by the news, you would not be able to do anything right. So let's tell ourselves that amidst the struggles of Nigeria, we would remain thankful. And I am thankful to see everyone here today. Another thing I'm thankful for is the Toastmaster of the day. Yes, I'm thankful for the Toastmaster of the day. And I'm going to read his profile so that you know how thankful I am to have such a prolific and seasoned speaker and amazing personality be our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Craig Asowade is an English doctor, spelling bee pronouncer, and events moderator. In 2009, Craig was awarded the best student in English phonetic transcription at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. And he graduated with a distinction after his immediate program in 2016. He's the founder of Craig's Communication Clinic, an establishment that helps children and professionals to achieve proficiency in English communication. Furthermore, Craig is the presenter and pronouncer of Spell It Fast on Television Continental TVC. Interestingly, Craig has earned the Toastmasters Competent Communicator Award, and he is the 2021 District 94 International Speech Evaluation Champion. You can now see that this person,
let me do my own work.
You can now see that this person is indeed a personality to be grateful for. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, please, with a virtual round of applause, let us welcome to the virtual lectern our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Craig Asowade. The virtual lectern is yours.
Wow. What an introduction of heroic and copacetic proportions. Toastmaster Oluwatoyin Bolajoko, thank you most fervently for the unparalleled brilliance of your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly fellow Toastmasters, welcome to today's moment of learning and reinvention. And if you're a guest, please accept our warmest and congenial welcome to today's meeting. It is fundamentally significant for me to mention that evaluation is inextricably intertwined with the Toastmasters educational philosophy, because it helps us to enhance our personal growth. It helps us to build the excellence of our meetings, and it helps us to upscale the effectiveness of a club. Ladies and gentlemen, having said that, you would be enraptured to know that someone is going to undertake the responsibility to champion that segment of the meeting experience. This person has been extensively introduced early on, but if you just logged in, I'd like to inform you that our general evaluator is Toastmaster Oluwatoyin Bolajoko. She is a corporate sales executive, and guess what? Her favorite quotation is by the renowned English playwright William Shakespeare: "To thy own self be true." Please join me to welcome to the virtual spotlight Toastmaster Oluwatoyin Bolajoko.
Thank you once again, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome once again. I am speaking now as the general evaluator. And my role today as a general evaluator is to ensure that we have a quality, world standard, world class meeting. And to do that, I have a team of very brilliant and exceptional role players who I will be introducing to you, and they would come to the virtual lectern and tell us what exactly their roles would be. First of all, I would like to introduce someone who is an interior designer. She loves health and books. Our primary focus for 2021 is to enjoy the moment, make mistakes quickly, and learn quickly. Our favorite quote reads, "Life is an experiment." This person would be in charge of championing or handling the table topic session. Her name is Toastmaster Vivian Echo. Toastmaster Vivian, if you could just unmute your mic and let's see your pretty face while you tell us what you'll be doing today.
Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Vivian Echo. Hello, Madam President. I am going to be covering the table topic questions, and I have 5 questions for you. So hello, everyone. Welcome to Toastmaster LEARNTOR meeting. So I'm just going to share my screen now.
Just a minute, just a moment. It's not time for the table topics yet. You just were introduced.
Okay, so just an introduction. So, hello.
Yes. Yes, we'll be back. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vivian. We look forward to a brilliant session as always. Moving on, I would like to call on the listening evaluator to come tell us what our role will be. Oroluwa Musa is a graduate of economics. She's an expert in international education, recruitment, and events management service. She's also a serial entrepreneur with interest in inspiring travels and sharing stories of holistic life experiences. Please welcome our listening evaluator, Oroluwa Musa, to the lectern. Toastmaster Oroluwa, where are you? Okay, if the listening evaluator is not in the room yet, I'd like to move on to...
She's actually in the room.
Okay, is she having network issues?
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And we can see you as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, Toastmasters of the day and Toastmasters in the house. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'll be the listening evaluator for today's meeting. I'll be listening to all the speeches, and I'll be coming back to ask questions to know if you actually listen to all the speeches. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, listening evaluator. We'll be sure to listen and ensure that we do you proud. Moving on to the timer. This person is a businesswoman. She loves hard work, integrity, and honesty. Her hobbies include dancing, cooking, listening to music, and shopping. I can testify to the shopping part. Her favorite quote is, "Nothing good comes easy. What will be, will be." Please welcome to the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Josephine Agolo, to explain the role of the timer to us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm glad to serve as our timer for today's meeting. I'll be timing the whole meeting, like I started with our president earlier. So I'll be timing the whole of the meeting for today. But most importantly, our table topics. Now, for the table topics, you are expected to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Once you've spoken for 1 minute, I'll flash my green card. Once you've spoken for 1 minute, 30 seconds, I'll flash the yellow card. Then at 2 minutes, I will flash the red card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, you are expected to wrap up your thoughts and round up at 2 minutes, some few seconds, so that your speech will be among the one that will be giving assessment evaluation. Then for the speech proper, for the prepared speech proper, you are expected to speak for between 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, hold on, I'm busy. At 5 minutes, you are expected to speak. At 5 minutes, I'll flash the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll flash the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, at that 6 minutes, you're expected to wrap up your thought and round up at 7 minutes, few seconds. That is going to be my duty for today. Thank you so much. Over to you, our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Timer. We look forward to having a timely meeting today. Moving on to the grammarian, who would be introducing the word of the day to us, as well as our role as a grammarian. She is a pharmacist and business manager. She loves reading and watching movies. Her primary focus in 2021 is to grow in her personal life and business. Her favorite quote reads, "The easiest thing I ever did was earn $1 million. The hardest thing I ever did, and it took years, was believing I was capable of earning $1 million." This was a quote by author and entrepreneur Les Brown. Please, let's welcome the grammarian in person of Emiola Adeshino to introduce to us the word of the day and our role. So welcome to the virtual lectern, grammarian.
Thank you very much, Mrs. General Evaluator. As the grammarian for today, I will be paying close attention to everyone, listening carefully to their language use, to your word choice, pronunciation, sentence structure, as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, and thoughts. It is also my responsibility to select the word of the day, adding one more word to your word heard at each meeting. For today's meeting, the word of the day is copacetic. Spelling is C-O-P-A-C-E-T-I-C, pronounced copacetic. Copacetic means very good or going very well. An example of how to use the word is, I would like to be the first to admit that today's meeting has been quite copacetic. I would encourage everyone today to please make use of the word copacetic. An Englishman will pronounce the word copacetic, but an American would say copacetic. I'll probably like us to use the pronunciation copacetic. At the end of all the speeches, I'll be back to give my report, watching out to make sure you make use of the word of the day, and also watching out on your language usage or grammar. Thank you very much, Mrs. General Evaluator.
Thank you, grammarian. Indeed, the meeting has been copacetic so far. Thank you so much for introducing the word of the day. Okay, finally, I'd like to introduce our counter. Sorry. I'd like to introduce our counter, who I think would not be available. I just received a message, apologies, that the counter would not be available. Toastmaster Mercy, is there someone else stepping in for the counter?
She's there. She's on the call.
She's in now.
Oh, she's in now. Okay, yeah. Awesome. I'd like to introduce the counter in person of Toastmaster Chinyere Oranugo. She's into business She's into business. She loves, sorry, please. All right. She loves distinctiveness and open-mindedness. Her primary focus is digital transformation and digital and data analysis. Her favorite quote is, "Easy does it." Please welcome to the virtual lecture, the R counter, to introduce her role.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests in the house. Thank you very much, General Evaluator, for the introduction. My name is Chinyere Orangu once again. So my role today will be to look at our speeches and the coherency of our speeches. When speaking, sometimes we tend to pause for long times unnecessarily, and sometimes we fill in what we call pause fillers. Pause fillers are words or statements or phrases that does not allow our speeches and does not make for a good flow of our speeches, and it hampers understanding sometimes. So today I'm going to be looking at how coherent our speeches are, how fluent, how flowing it is all through the meeting. And I hope the meeting will be Q-patic. Okay, I'll look at the word of the day again. Thank you so much. I hand over back to the General Evaluator. Thank you. I'm so sorry, my video won't be on for now, please. Pardon me.
Okay, thank you so much for that amazing introduction of your role. Yes, this will bring me to the end of the introduction for the role players. At the end of the meeting, we will come back to give our reports. Thank you so kindly for staying with us. We hope that the meeting remains copacetic. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
All right, thank you very kindly, Toastmaster Bolaji Oluwatoyin, and members of the evaluation team for the copacetic description of your responsibilities. For the convenience of our guests, a Toastmasters meeting structurally and in consonance with the Toastmasters learning system is comprised of 3 copacetic segments. The first is table topics, during which time we learn how to speak spontaneously in an organized fashion. The second is prepared speeches. That is a moment where Toastmasters deliver speeches from the communication manuals they're working on. And interestingly enough, we have 1 speech in the offing. The last segment, in my humble estimation, is the jewel in the crown. It is the most valuable portion of a Toastmasters experience, and that is called evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We have a training that will center around the power of your story through storytelling. That is coming up as well. Let's now delve into the first segment of the meeting. That's table topics. Our table topics master has been introduced earlier or early on. Nevertheless, what I want you to know about her is that she's an interior designer and she loves health and books. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome to the spotlight Toastmaster Vivian Ikpo.
Thank you so much for that beautiful and copacetic introduction. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the table topic session, and I will be leading this. I am just going to share my screen. Please, can I get access to share my screen? Thank you. I hope everyone has had a copacetic day so far. That is great. Thanks for the thumbs up. Access to share my screen has been granted. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so we will begin. I would like at least 5 volunteers for this session. So if you are new or if you are willing to give this a go, it's quite informal. It's not very, the questions are pretty straightforward, so you would not stumble at all. So please put your name down in the chat or just indicate by raising your hand. Thank you. And the table topic is a long-standing Toastmaster tradition intended to help members develop their ability to organize their thoughts quickly and respond to an impromptu question or topic. This is quite essential. And the basic rules, which has been iterated already, is choose one out of the first 5 questions. You can just choose a random number. Your presentation time is 1 to 2 minutes. And we all get to vote for the best impromptu speech, which is terrific. So do we have a volunteer, please? Or can I just randomly choose a person, which will make it more fun? So if you're interested, kindly unmute yourself and just choose any number. Introduce yourself, please, and choose a number. Can you please unmute yourself, please?
I volunteer.
Okay, so I'm going to, who just volunteered, please?
Toastmaster Mercy.
Oh, thank you very much, Toastmaster Mercy. Okay, so what number would you like to go for?
Like 3.
Perfect. And so we have the question. Introduce yourself in summary. Easy, straightforward.
Okay. So I'll probably stop you from sharing your screen. So
That's fine.
In the video. So you can stop sharing. I should introduce myself in summary. Can you stop sharing, please? Toastmaster Vivian, you want to stop sharing your screen? Okay. Awesome. Okay, I should introduce myself briefly. I will do that in this copacetic meeting today. And I love the colors of your PowerPoint presentation. I probably think that's why it has endeared me to volunteer, to just encourage a lot of new members that are present today. My name is Mercy George-Igbafe. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a Christian, I'm an intercessor, I'm a grandmother, I'm almost 50. I'm a member of Ikeja Toastmasters, serving in the capacity of Vice President Publicity. I'm the president, I'm the vice president for both Ikeja Toastmasters and LEARNTOR Toastmasters, serving in the capacity of vice president. I'm the founder of LEARNTOR, a digital consulting company. I love dancing. I love swimming. I actually do love playing in the rain. I love a lot of dancing in the rain, which is really creepy. So you see rain pouring, I rush into it and I go and flex because I've got quite a lot of copacetic energy embedded in me. I love to smile a lot. I love to work with people. I'm passionate about Toastmasters educational learning program because I know it builds capacity in me. And over to you, table topic master.
Wow, wow, wow. Can we please give her a digital applause, please? That was so pathetic. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so over to the next person. I am going to share my screen again. I would like to choose someone this time. Since No one is volunteering. So could I please have Elizabeth Chioma have a go? Hello, Elizabeth. Are you there? Okay, hopefully she's going to come back and respond.
Why not I take number 2?
Nice, thank you. Who's just spoken, please?
My name is Deji.
Thank you so much, Deji. Okay, so you've got number 2.
Hello, I'm sorry to cut in here. It was said at our last meeting that Deji should not be doing table topics, please.
No, that's not Deji. That's not him. See, I'm just
Okay, that's not him. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right, sorry about that.
So Deji, what's your full name, please, so we can get to know you better?
My name is Ayodeji Randall.
Thank you so much. Okay, so why did you choose LEARNTOR Toastmasters? I'm so sorry for that. Why did you choose LEARNTOR Toastmasters?
Sorry, Vivian. Vivian, you might have to stop sharing your screen so that I can flash the cards.
That's fine. Screen stop.
Is that a table topic question?
Please, yes, please. It is.
Oh, excellent. So I proceed. Thank you again for this opportunity. Why LEARNTOR Toastmasters? First question I'd like to respond to is why Toastmasters? People that know me or people that have known me in the past know that I struggled with speaking speech, joining, combining words together. My words are not copacetic. So I had something inside me, but I wasn't able to bring it out because, again, my words were not copacetic. So I always hid behind things, and I told people who could speak better than me to go ahead and speak. Why I maybe took a leadership role, and I was like, just getting somebody in, like a case of Obuari and Osibajo. So it proceeded like this all through I was from 7 years old till I went to Covenant University. I had roles all through, but I never went on stage. I never went to speak to address people, because I felt like I wasn't enough. So I had to ask myself a question: why was it that I kept getting roles, and the people see something in me that I didn't see, and why is it that I can't voice them out? So I saw the Toastmasters as a platform for me to actually get my voice out, to be able to share my story, to be able to stand tall in front of people and speak and let them see what I have inside me. Why LEARNTOR? They say birds of the same feather flock alike, and they say great minds meet and assemble together. And I believe LEARNTOR is a place where I could network and meet the kind of minds that I want, that will take me to the level, pretty much the level that I want to get to. And this is the answer to my question. Table topics, Master.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Deji. Can we please give him a round of applause as well, please? Thank you. Well done. Okay, so we need to have another volunteer, or is Elizabeth available now? What about
Madam Topics Master? We would love to take 5 volunteers. Notwithstanding, we will not be able to take that in the context of time management. You can take 1 more respondent and relinquish control.
No problem. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so do we have just 1 more volunteer? Who will the lucky person be? What about you, Talisha? Would you like to have a go?
Okay, no problem.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting. Okay, so what number would you like to go for, please?
Let me go for 3.
3 and 2 have already been chosen. So you have number 1, number 4, and number 5.
4.
Perfect. So the question is, what is your biggest lesson in life so far?
What is my biggest lesson in life
so far?
Right now, one of my biggest lessons in life so far is learning how to live without my mother, who passed away 2 months ago.
Wow.
So right now, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for me because I'm used to talking to her every day. I'm used to seeing her at least 3 times a week. So I'm trying to get used to not hearing her voice and not talking to her just about every day. I almost still try to call her, but I have to remind myself that she's no longer with me here on earth, but I know she's here with me in spirit. So right now, that's my biggest challenge or my lesson. But besides that, another thing that's a biggest challenge for me is learning how to speak professionally. So that's what I'm working on.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Talisha, for that sympathetic, beautiful table topic session. Thank you for the courage for coming here and being present in spite of what you're going through. Thank you for pushing. Can we please give her a wonderful round of applause, please? Thank you, everyone, for joining me in this session today. I hope it has been sympathetic. Over to you, TM. Greg. Bye-bye.
All right, Vivian, thank you most kindly for the way you handled that table topics portion of the meeting. What a copacetic display of leadership competence. Well done. Right, so let's go straight to the timekeeper to tell us how the 3 respondents performed in line with the time allotment. Madam Timekeeper, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Yeah, our first table topic taken by Tia Mercy. She spoke for 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Our second speaker for today, table topic, he spoke for, that is TMDJ, DG, sorry. He spoke for 1 minute, 45 seconds, while the last speaker, Talisha, spoke for 1 minute, 18 seconds. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
All right, thank you most kindly. I am delighted to know that all of the speakers performed effectively in the perspective of time management. All right, Toastmaster Saya Baba, how are we going to conduct the voting, please? Are we going to have a poll?
Yeah, Tim Craig. Okay, fine. I think the poll is up. Yeah.
All right, the poll is up. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's vote for whom we think responded best to the light-hearted topics questions. All right, fellow Toastmasters and our dear guests, are you aware that from a neuroscience frame of mind, the brain is receptive to stories? Ladies and gentlemen, are you equally aware that stories are a staggering 22 times more memorable than facts? We center around the individual who is going to facilitate this experience is someone who has soared in many dimensions with the great vigor of a splendid golden eagle. I would introduce her briefly. Ladies and gentlemen, she's none other than Mobosi Nuola Randall. She's an entrepreneur, writer, creator, and she is a storyteller. She's a founder and CEO of Touch of a Queen, a fashion brand inspired by the vibrancy of the African culture. Ladies and gentlemen, this accomplished lady has a master's in media studies. Her flair is centered around storytelling that clearly, concisely, and firmly foreshadows narratives of culture, race, empowerment, and business. The whole session, including questions and answers, would last for 30 minutes. Please join me to welcome this copacetic lady, Mobosi Nuola Randall.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're tuning in from. Thank you so much for that copacetic introduction. I'm very enthusiastic to be here today with everyone. Thank you for having me and inviting me. And I hope that we have an impactful session. Please engage with me in the chat, raise your hand. I want this to be a back and forth so that we really get something from it. Because storytelling, as the introduction said, is so incredibly powerful. And we're sitting here on a gold mine. Everyone here that's on this call today is a gold mine of stories. And Toastmasters is a wonderful platform for you to see what that is like in your speeches and bring it to your speeches and carry it to other sections of your life. So let's get into that today. So first, I want to challenge everyone, and you can put your answers in the chat or say them out loud. What is more powerful than storytelling? Is success more powerful than storytelling? Is money more powerful? Is faith, sex, rock and roll? Like, what is more powerful than storytelling? Is there anything? Okay, someone said money. Anyone else? Is there anything more powerful than storytelling? Story is the way of life. Vivian, we're here. Anything else? Anything more powerful than storytelling? Going once, going twice. So I want to challenge living. Okay, living. I love that answer, and I'm going to challenge that answer as well. So please give me some more. We'll give you about 20 seconds left. Anything more powerful than storytelling? So far, the answers we have are money, living, and Vivian also followed up by saying, without stories, where would we be? And that is the greatest question of everything. So money, unfortunately, is not more powerful than storytelling. Living, honestly, again, is not more powerful than storytelling. And let me tell you why. So our life and the life that we live is completely influenced by the stories that we're told, the stories that we believe, and the stories that we also tell. So a lot of people in our lives, the first storytellers are your parents. They're people in your village. They're your teachers. Those are the first people who pour into you and give you stories that influence the way you look at yourself. Sometimes they're your classmates. If your classmates tell you the story that you're not pretty or that you're ugly or that you're not smart, people begin to believe those stories about themselves. They also come into the fact of living. You know, some people everybody has a different way that they believe you should live. And that is also influenced by stories. Some people want to live a healthier life because they subscribe to the story that health is wealth and eating vegetables and making what you put inside of you empowers you. Some people subscribe to, you know, whatever makes you feel good, do that. And that's the life they live. Some people subscribe to it that, you know, the way you operate in your space, if you make your bed every morning, that influences how you feel in the morning. So all of these things, all these stories that you're told, all the stories that are poured into you, and then that you begin to tell, influence your life. It influences how you deal with money, because a lot of people get money, but can they keep money? It depends on the story that they believe in and what they subscribe to. A lot of people are living life, but some people are happier than others. What kind of stories have been poured into them, and what kind of stories are they pouring into themselves and into others? What have you been told about who you are? What have you been told about people in your family? What have you been told about your country, your tribe? What have you been told about yourself at work? All of these things matter, and they make up your stories, and they carry into what you're doing here in Toastmasters today, and the kind of speeches you decide to do, the kind of speeches you decide to share with everyone, because you're always finding your voice. So that is my first challenge to you, to see storytelling in everything. And a lot of times, as we continue to grow into our lives and become more exposed, we have to untell ourselves the stories, because stories are so, so powerful. As I was preparing, and as I speak to a lot of my clients, we talk about, the things that they believe and that they don't believe. For example, I'm a Christian, so I'll speak from Christianity. Some people never pick up a Bible, never read the Bible for themselves, but they believe they are really, really faithful Christians just because they go to church and they listen to their pastor, and they listen to what the pastors tell them, they listen to what their parents tell them, and they repeat what they're seeing. And they buy into that story without ever picking up the Bible for themselves. Is that person wrong? It depends on where you sit. But are they learning all the correct stories? Maybe, maybe not. But they don't get to make a decision for themselves, because they give their power away to others. So even the people that you listen to and the stories that you take in is a way of exchanging power. So who is powerful in your life? Who speaks and you believe them? Who speaks and influences what you think? Who speaks and influences your movements, your actions, and what you do, and what you believe you can't do, and puts limits on you? Who does that for you? And then in the same place, how do you harness your power? So I'm going to repeat this over and over, that your greatest power in storytelling is that no one else is you. That's your greatest power. No one else has lived life like you. No one else has your background. No one else is you. So in that aspect, if you think that you are an expert on you, you are an expert on what you believe, you're an expert on your life experience, then what kind of stories can you tell? Are you really limited to what you have limited yourself to thus far? Or is there more for you to add to the conversation? So let's talk about how this carries into your speeches. So one of the things that I talk about when I'm helping people write speeches, or when people are thinking, what is the next phase of my life, in my business, in my personal life, I ask, what are you passionate about? What are the things that you are always thinking about? What are the things that concern you about the world? What is your family like? Because if you don't tell the stories of your family, if you don't tell the stories of your nation, if you don't tell the stories of your village, if you don't tell the stories of your business, you give that power away for someone else to do it for you. And once you give that power away, what can happen? Someone can now tell your story and it can be completely wrong. Or someone can decide that your story is not worth being heard and you become erased. So part of the things you also have to challenge yourself with today is taking your power back from wherever you have given it away and saying that you want to tell your own stories. You want to use your speeches to do this or to say this or to find your voice in a way so that people don't make the decision for you. So I want to put a little challenge out there. Again, you can respond in the chat, but I would like some people to respond out loud. I'll take about 3 responses. So in the last week, one of the introductions we were talking about, one of the people were talking about what's been going on in Nigeria, from changing Nigeria's name to UAR, to banning Twitter, and all of this that's happening. So the world is, again, talking about Nigeria on a large platform. So my question to you is, what is the story that people are talking about Nigeria outside of Nigeria? And what is the story that Nigerians are telling about Nigerians? And what is the difference? Do you sense the difference? So any volunteers? The story that the world is telling versus the story that Nigerians have. Not just about this last week, but overall.
I don't mind going.
Okay.
My point of view has been different from living outside Nigeria and then living in Nigeria. Living outside Nigeria, it's very easy for you to think Nigerians are quite lazy. Like Nigerians are quite laid back. They're not doing anything to make change, to evoke some form of change within any space. But since I've been here and seeing the hustling spirit within Nigerian, it's quite powerful to then understand that the injustice is just a matter of greed and pure sheer wickedness that does not make sense. Nigeria has one of the, I'm sorry, I would brag because I've seen it. So many Nigerians are doing so many things at the same time. So talented, so expert, just they can do so many things at the same time. They can make things with their hands, but no one is harnessing those skills because the system has been created to make them fail by force. So different views now going and coming. That's my perspective.
Yeah, that's really powerful. So the question on ground, if you're just joining or you didn't hear before, is what is the story that the world is telling of Nigeria, and what is the story that Nigerians actually know about Nigeria? So Vivian, our first volunteer, of course, spoke about the difference between living abroad and thinking that, you know, maybe Nigerians are just laid back. Maybe they're okay with the situation that they're in. Maybe it's laziness. Maybe they don't want to work hard. But being in Nigeria and seeing Nigerians and knowing Nigerians working, they're hustlers, they're talented, they have so much to offer, but they are victims of a very broken system. Anyone else? What is the story that the world tells of Nigeria, and what is the story that Nigerians actually have of Nigeria?
Okay, I would like to go next.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mubosinola. Thank you. All right, so I would like to say that I think that the narrative that the media paints of struggling countries, not only Nigeria, is something that is over-exaggerated. So they pick a little part of the problem and focus on it so much that you think that's what the country is all about. And like I would say Nigeria, for example, because I stay in Nigeria, I watch some news, some foreign news, and they fixate on a certain part of the country. And I'm like, they've not even been to these very fine places like Banana Island. How come nobody's showing Banana Island on CNN? But it's just what the narrative that they paint is. It's like what Toastmaster Vivian said, narrative of the people who do not know what they are doing. But I feel like Sars Protest last year spoke about how pushed for a change Nigerians are, and it also spoke of the wickedness that supersedes the strength of the youth currently, the system that is so dirty that it's so hard for anyone to just stand up to it. And yeah, Nigerians have the best humor. I do not think there's any Twitter space in the world that is as interesting as Nigerian Twitter. They have the best humor. Even in the midst of everything that is happening, we always find a way to make each other laugh. And that's a gift that I've not seen anywhere else.
Thank you for that answer. You bring a lot of wonderful points that we're carrying into today's session. Media, narrative, all of those things are incredibly important because what you see, right, with the media is that often if Nigerians like yourselves do not participate in the conversation, the narrative is told for you, and it is fixated on the dark continent, right? Because for many centuries, going back to colonization, Africa is the dark continent. It is jungles, it's safari, it's lions, tigers, and bears, it's huts and trees, it's kids running around with no shoes. Everyone is hungry and needs to be saved. That is the narrative of Africa. Nigerians themselves are, everyone is a scammer. No one is smart. No one wants to work hard. That is the narrative that the media portrays and has consistently portrayed. So a good percentage of the world who doesn't know you, who's never stepped foot in Nigeria, who has no idea that Abuja and Lagos and Banana Island and all these other places exist, just like every other country, and the wealth that continues to go in these countries and how the system affects it, they don't tell that aspect of the story. And so we have narrative where one part is true, but one part is louder. And so the question is, how can you participate in making your side of the narrative louder? Like we mentioned, Twitter, how Nigerian Twitter is, it's a vibe. It's where people come and they're sharing not only their experiences and news, but also laughing and relaxing and, trying to push forward and be resilient. You also mentioned the Sars Protest. And I think that was a wonderful time where you saw Nigerian youth understand the power of their narrative and telling it for themselves, right? Because it could have just been another moment in time where tragedy slipped under the rug and no one said anything. But Nigerian youth made noise, and they made sure their voices were heard, and they made sure they were seen, and they said, no matter what you do to us, we're going to make sure we hear. They galvanized Nigerians abroad, they galvanized celebrities. Everyone used their power collectively to make sure that narrative and that story came out. And it doesn't have to just exist in spaces like that. It can also exist in spaces like these. It can also exist and apply to other aspects of your lives, things you're passionate about, whether it's business, whether it's women empowerment, whether it's your own personal brand, whether it's culture, whether it's your family. All of these stories are important. And if, again, you give away your power and allow other people to tell your narrative and your story for you, what will it sound like? And are you okay with it? Because a lot of Nigerian people are not okay with the way they're portrayed. A lot of indigenous people from, Pacific Islanders are not okay with the way they're portrayed. A lot of Black people in America are not okay with the way they're portrayed. So everyone is trying to get their stories out there. And I'm trying to encourage you that your story matters and that it's important to stand in your power of who you are, where you come from, what you believe, and understand that your existence is a gold mine and no one can undervalue you or disvalue you because your story matters. And it's so, so important. And using a platform like Toastmasters to harness your story is just one stepping stone, but it goes beyond this, where you come here, you exercise, you become a better speaker, but then you take that and you go out to other places and you take your stories to larger platforms. So another way that I also want to challenge you with the Nigerian example is in your family. So what stories do people tell about your family, and what stories do you know to be true about your family, if one person wants to share? Or about where you're from, where you live now, what stories exist about those places versus what is actually true or that you know to be true.
Okay, I'll go. For me, I'm Lagosian, but all I know is pretty much what my parents told me, pretty much. So as I grew older, I found out that most of what they said is all what they knew. I knew there was more. I knew my story from pretty much my great grandfather, which is slave trade, pretty much. Oh, I used to think of my life that I was a descendant from his slave trade, from his slave, but apparently I found out that I might not be. So I mean, there's so many so many assumptions that were made that were carried down through my generation and passed down to me. And I assumed, and as I grew older, becoming a man, I found out that most of the things were not true. And the stories they've been saying about me or saying about my family, the Randalls, are pretty much being false.
You bring up a great point, and that's also another point why, you know, at this stage and where you exist in your lineage, it's really, really important to know what the story is for yourself, right? Because you only know what people have told you, but a lot of times there's much more. And if you can be that opportunity to tell whatever is much more and discover what is much more, the story changes. So I'm even asking you as people, as individuals, you know, once you're gone, what do you want people to know about you? What stories do you want your children to hear and understand about who they are and where they come from? And beyond that, what about the stories that you don't want to tell? You know, everybody has secrets, everybody has things they're ashamed of, but subconsciously, those are also influencing our decisions about what we're passionate about, what we're not passionate about. And understanding and owning all of that is all very, very important. Because it just makes you a much more informed storyteller. It makes you a much more informed speech giver. It makes you a much more informed person and continues to give you license and agency to really be in a powerful place and tell your story as it deserves to be heard. So I want to talk about how we have views of what it is going to be like to tell a good story. So a good story has a few elements. Or let's say a speech has a beginning, a middle, and an end, or a beginning, a body, and a conclusion. So when you tell a story, that's the aspects that you always hope to bring forward. But the greatest stories have intention. They have you wanting to understand what you want people to get from it. So the most important person in you telling your story is your audience. You as the storyteller, believe it or not, are not the most important person when you tell a story. Because if you tell a great story, if it's packaged well, if it sounds nice, but your audience does not receive it, you have done yourself a disservice. So you always want to think about who are you speaking to, right? The way you tell a story to a child versus a teenager versus an adult versus an elderly person, if it's the same story, it will all sound different. Same if you go to business versus a conversation with your partner versus a conversation with your siblings. It's the same story, but they all sound different. So knowing your audience and honoring your audience when you tell your story is incredibly important because you always want to be impactful. So one of the questions I want you to ask yourself every time you are giving a speech and telling a story is, what do I want people to get from this, right? Because if it sounds good, but you don't know the intention that you're putting forward in your beginning, middle, and end, then you are doing yourself and your audience a disservice. And the ways that you can always gauge how impactful it is by listening and getting feedback, which a lot of times you get here in Toastmasters, but also just being conscious of once you write a speech or you create something, does it actually serve your intention? So if your intention is to tell people about the business you're doing, does your speech actually do that? If your intention is to talk about women's rights, does your speech actually do that? If your story is to tell the story of Nigerians, does your story and your speech actually do that? Those are the questions you're asking yourself all the time. Your intention matters from conception to execution. And also what you want to do is what we've been talking about, that, you know, your powers that no one else is you, is be authentic. Be authentic to what you know, be authentic to what you understand, and be transparent about what you don't know, if that is that. But stay true to yourself and don't feel the need to cater to someone or change your story for other people. I say a lot of times when I deal with clients, especially African clients, who want to work in the West or have more international appeal, one of their challenges is how do they tell their stories, right? in a way that does have international appeal without sacrificing themselves? And my answer to them always is be authentic. You know, be yourself. People will resonate with your story if it's honest and you put your best foot forward. You do not have to change who you are based on your audience. You just have to be clear about who you are. And that comes in understanding the structure of having a beginning, where it's an introduction, introducing who you are, a body where you're going through the meat of what you hope people to get, and a conclusion where if no one takes anything away from your speech, they at least took away your conclusion and a summary of what you brought forward. So a great speech has intention, it's impactful, and is challenging you all the time to bring yourself fully to it. And before I conclude, I also want to talk about themes in your speech and themes in storytelling. If you have some themes that you want to bring forward in your speeches, do that. And themes can be anything from, again, culture, finances, storytelling, movies, travel, food, all these different things. But bring those things fully and expand on them, sitting from the position of where you are, not necessarily saying that it has to be or look like what the next person is doing, but challenging your saying, what do I personally have to bring to it? What does Mobasi Nyola sound like? And one of the greatest ways you can do that, and this is my last point, is by having a mission statement for yourself. So I want to challenge everyone today, if you don't already have a mission statement, write a mission statement for yourself. And what does your mission statement say? It should compile of who you are, who you want to be, who you want people to know you as, and what you stand for. And one of the things you heard in my bio is part of my mission statement. So I always say Mobasi Nyola is a storyteller who is passionate about African people telling their stories authentically and owning their own narratives. Mobasi Nyola is a woman who cares about the way that Black women are portrayed all over the world and wants to influence the diversity of the narrative of Black women. Mobasi Nyola is a person who really wants to create empowering content that expands minds and educates people, that even if they never leave their homes, just by listening to me, they can take something away to change their lives for the better. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that she deserves a roaring round of applause, please generously give it to her. Wow. Mobasi Nyola, thank you ever so much for the unbridled beauty of your reflections. 3 things stood out with a colorful flourish. First, your greatest power in storytelling is you. Your greatest power in storytelling is no one, you. Number 2, audience is a crucial aspect. The audience is a crucial aspect of storytelling. And the final thing that stood out is that intention matters from conception to execution. Thank you very kindly for that. Let me just throw a question into the narrative. How best, in your humble estimation, do we end a story? Because it was William Shakespeare who mentioned to us that all is well that ends well. To make a story impactful and meaningful, how best do we end it?
Very, very good question. I say, and this is always a challenging point to everyone, but have an impactful sentence. It should be something that you've either repeated from the beginning of your story to the end, or one thing that really summarizes it. So for example, for myself, I have a quote that I created that I say all the time, which is, when you have dreamt your biggest dream, dream bigger. Because that summarizes what my intention is to everything I bring. That you should always go beyond yourself. When you think you've reached your highest point, there's still more for you to go. So have a quote that you really, really believe in, whether you've heard it or you've created it, or just have an impactful statement that if no one takes anything away from your story or speech, at least they heard that. And I have a couple of people that asked me to repeat the mission statement item, please. So I'm just going to repeat that for them. The mission statement for you is a summary of who you are, who you hope to be, and what you want people to know about you. So what you want people to receive about you when you speak, when people come across you, what do you want them to know? And that is the mission statement. And I also am going to put in the chat a way to continuously connect with me. I have a sign up so you can sign up to my newsletter, as well as a consultation, free consultation that I'm giving out for the first session to any person who wants to meet with me one-on-one. I see some questions, hands, but it disappeared. TM Oluwatoyin.
All right, I can see that the timekeeper has raised the, Oluwatoyin, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt you mid-sentence. I can see that the timekeeper has already raised the red card, and that would signal to me clearly and unflinchingly that we have to move on with the meeting experience. If you have a question to ask, please indicate them in the chat box. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll now glide effortlessly into the prepared speeches segment of the meeting. And fascinatingly, we are going to listen to one prepared speaker who would be evaluated by Toastmaster Deji Randall. In my opinion, Deji is someone who attends club meetings with radical consistency. He embodies the Toastmasters movement, and he has completed the presentation mastery level 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like Deji Randall now to tell us the objectives of this project. Deji, over to you.
The purpose of this project is for Mercy to deliver a speech with the awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how she uses her non-verbal communication when delivering a speech. TMSC, I'm focusing on your speech mechanics and your emotions today, so have fun.
All right, Deji Randall, thank you very kindly for that. That was admirably succinct. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Rudock, an Irish martial teacher, said something of paramount significance. Your body communicates as well as the mouth. Don't contradict yourself. Has introduced herself. In the interest of those who just logged in, she is a digital strategist and marketing professional. She is a coach, mentor, and guess what? Under her belt, she has a growing community of approximately 2,000 entrepreneurs and professionals. The title of her speech is The Benefits of Body Language. Toastmaster Mercy, please take the floor and break a leg.
Thank you very kindly, Toastmaster Craig. Today's meeting has been pulsatingly interesting. I've been rightly introduced, and I'm very grateful for the warmth of the introduction. Very grateful for it. And I'm speaking on the benefits of body language. Did you know that 60 to 65% of human communication is nonverbal? Even when a person is standing, like my physician at the moment, or a person is telling a story, like our guest speaker today. And did you know that An average body language expert earns about, on an average, 60,000 US dollars. And that's where they go to analyze people speaking, like you see when Kate and Ari were having their interview, some expert took their turn and started dissecting their body language. Anyway, I'd like to say this quote from Deborah Bull, an English dancer, a broadcaster, a creative director of the Royal Opera House. She said, body language is a very powerful tool. We have a body language before we had a speech. Apparently, 80% of what you understand in conversation is read through body language, not words. As you see me, I'm speaking, you can see that I'm gesticulating and using my hands and trying to communicate. Can I get in the chat, how many of us have children? If you have children, can you type yes? Y for yes and N for no. I just like this to be a very collaborative conversation. Thank you so much, Tiama Deshayo. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chidi, our area director. Thank you for participating. I know you have children where you catch them in an act and they say, Mommy, it's not me. I swear, it's not me. Oftentimes when that happens, I have little children and you catch them in an act and you go, why did you do that? The first thing, Mommy, I didn't do it. Oh, I swear. Once you see that gesticulation, I swear, it means that they are telling a lie. I often get into trouble as a digital strategist, and because I'm very direct, I'm very upfront, I'm very blunt, and my body language does a lot of communication for me without me speaking, coupled with the fact that I have a very inbuilt voice that has a microphone. I don't need any microphone. People from far can hear. My husband goes, Mercy, you're too loud. Take it down. You know, I can't help it. That's the way I'm wired. So I just want to tell you a very fascinating story. When I went to see Mr. Ali Baba, we all know him, the famous Nigerian comedian. I call him Big Ross. And he lectured me where the origin of body gesticulation with the Africans came from. So he went into the story and tied it to why Pidgin is a very popular language and it should be acceptable for all Africans. Why? So 400 years ago, when the slavers came to Africa and uprooted a lot of Africans from their home and took them out, what had happened was the fact that a lot of people had to work with people that were speaking in English. Some were speaking, I don't know if you know the story of the Tower of Babel, where they're building together and all of a sudden their languages changed and they had to communicate. And this one is saying something and this one is saying, I can't hear you, blah, blah, blah. You know, I have a beautiful daughter that I've been a caregiver for. She's deaf and she's dumb, she has special needs. And I had to go learn sign language to be able to communicate with her. So he said that's where the origin of Pidgin came from. So they are working as slavers in the cotton yard, picking cotton, and the master signals them and says, you come. So because they couldn't speak in English, the slavers could not respond back in English. So that brought about a lot of gesticulation. So I had to gesticulate. Before I go over my time, I just want to point out some of the things that you see challenging with regards to body languages that are things that we need to watch out for as pointers. I rightly told you my voice is loud, my tone of voice is strong. Number one thing that you need to avoid when you are communicating in a non-verbal way is, number one, make sure you keep eye contact. It's bad if you don't keep an eye contact. Number two, make sure you don't stare. Don't stare intensely. It's considered rude. It's considered unacceptable. Number 3, make sure you don't stand and fold your hands like you are trying to fight with someone, or you clench your fist like you're not paying attention. It makes you very pensive. Make sure you have a very good facial expression. Make sure that you smile a lot. And I look forward to my feedback. Make sure you're positioned, you're moving, you're signaling motion as you communicate in a non-verbal way. Have a good eye contact, have a good posture, have a good rhythm to the tone of your voice, and that will help. In conclusion, there's an English writer and actor, I'm sure we all know him, Ricky Gervais. He says body language is more powerful than words. So, however, I would like to say this. I want to borrow from the compensating training today and say, Mercy George-Igbafe, my vision is to build capacity for Africans that are digitally savvy, good communicator, either verbally or non-verbally, and are able to express themselves. Now, the big question for you is, how do you want to be known when you communicate? Do you want to maintain a rhythm? Do you want to have a good posture? Do you want to maintain a high contact so that you can have good success? And over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
And I take control from you, Madam Prepared Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Mercy a rousing round of applause. And if your video is off, give her the thumbs up. Mercy, well done. Right. I learned from your speech that to have copacetic body language, you need to have eye contact. Don't fold your arms. Have warm facial expressions. Have a good posture. Thank you very kindly for those tips, Toastmaster Mercy. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I am inclined to inform you that we've come to the June of the anatomy of a Toastmasters meeting experience, and it is fondly called evaluation. Do you know why? Evaluation helps us to enhance our personal growth. Evaluation helps us to build the excellence of our meetings. Evaluation helps us to build the effectiveness of our club. And this portion of the meeting would be anchored or moderated by the general evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, with a ripple round of applause, please join me to welcome back to the spotlight our general evaluator, Toastmaster Oluwatoyin Bolajoko.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for this copacetic introduction. The meeting has been amazing so far. I have learned a great deal about storytelling and changing the narrative. The power indeed lies in our hands. It's been an amazing meeting, and my team and I would love to give our evaluations as it should be in the Toastmasters meeting. I'd like, first of all, to call on the table topics evaluator to give us the evaluation of the table topic speakers. Our table topic evaluator is a communication consultant and managing partner at iParadigm Consult, an organization that offers professional training in communication and capacity development. He's been training for over a decade now. Aside from communication and capacity development, he owns an animal husbandry farm, also called Griggs Farm, and he offers consultancy services for those interested in the farming business. He is a public analyst who has featured severally on television and radio interviews, is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, a member of the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria. He's an alumnus of Faith Foundation Business School. He's an astute public speaker, a teacher, an activist, and a serial entrepreneur. And one thing I love about our table topics evaluator is his voice. He has a deep baritone that could melt the hardest heart. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, please welcome to the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Ibrahim Fatoyimbo, who will be evaluating our table topics. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, Tiambola Jugu, thank you so much for that warm introduction. I'm grateful. Well, without much ado, I just have to say that the meeting has been a very perceptive one, and I have learned a whole lot of things from storytelling, table topics, and the prepared speech. Having said that, I would like to start with Toastmaster Mercy for the topic is introduce yourself in summary, like just to give a summary. To be honest with you, one thing that is very charming about her speech is that she balanced what she said, that she loves to smile by smiling even while presenting that. And I could tell you for a fact that it was well said and it was fantastic. So there is not really much thing for me to say about what you need to do best because you're an experienced Toastmaster. So that was a wonderful one. You did introduce yourself and we all know what you do and what you are into. So please just continue doing that great job that you know how to do best, impacting. So please a round of applause for Toastmaster Mercy for a well presented table topics. Having said that, I would like to also evaluate and talk about Toastmaster Digirando. I so much enjoy him. How will I start? I don't just want to go into talking about him, but he's always calm and collected anytime he wants to speak. And one thing I enjoy about this presentation of the table topics is when the question was, why did you choose LEARNTOR Toastmasters? And he responded back and say, why not Toastmaster? That's from an experienced Toastmasters, because a lot of people don't know that even on table topics, you had the liberty when the table topic master asks you a question, you can even go and come from your area of and about his presentation was he's sharing his personal experience. It's so delightful sharing his personal experience and giving what I call psychological proximity, meaning talking about Buhari and Oshiba doing secondary school, like having somebody to just corroborate whatever you are doing or just to help you. And he concludes the speech by saying he's joining the LEARNTOR Toastmaster because birds of the same feather flocks together. So that was a very fantastic one. I appreciate you and I salute your presentation. Again, it was a perceptive one and I do my cap for you. Well done. Last but not the least is Toastmaster Talisha. I beg your pardon, I didn't get that correctly. So what is your biggest lesson? Immediately she said that learning how to live without my mother. As a communicator, if you say that to people in an audience, immediately you've arrested their attention and you share your personal experience too. So it was a very fantastic one and a very emotional table topics. So we are aware of your mom that is late, and I used this medium to say, may her gentle soul rest in peace. In all, you did fantastically well, and you made your point. So well done. So that's just my evaluation about the table topics. Everybody did wonderfully well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Ibrahim, for that copacetic evaluation. I would now like to call on the prepared speaker or the prepared speech evaluator in person of Toastmaster Ayodeji Randall, who is a digital analyst and digital solutions expert. He enjoys using data and tech to make disruptions in business, media, and sports. He loves using his free time to have conversations around masculinity, where he hopes to unveil the cracks behind societal and traditional masculinity, reorienting boys and men. Toastmaster Deji counsels on the diversity and inclusion team of a credit union company, where he hopes to obliterate the gaps in racial background and serves as the voice of the minority community. He has completed his presentation mastery level 5, and is currently working the engaging humor pathway. He has only one boss, his bride, who is Mobosinola. Please welcome to the virtual lectern the boy who has a boss called Toastmaster Mobosinola, in person of Toastmaster Ayodeji Randall. The virtual lectern is yours, sir.
Thank you kindly for that copacetic introduction. I'll move straight to the evaluation. Toastmaster Mercy, my goal pretty much was to watch you move your body pretty much and see how your body communicates to everybody. And I think that you did a good job. The things I really liked about your speech, and I want to point out now, was number one, the way you were able to enlist your points. For example, when you said that there are things we should watch out for, you enlist some things. Keep eye contact, don't stare, fold your hands, and you're able to, do all the stands and everything. And I thought that was excellent. You were able to give us some statistics in the beginning of the speech. Like you said, 6 to 65% of human communication is nonverbal. And you also said BL, body language, is a tool. I was writing in shorthand, so I was like, BL is a tool. And I put it down there. I was like, it's a tool. I need to go on with this tool and pretty much brush myself on the tool. You also use a personal story to you of how your kids communicate to you. And you were like, it's not me, blah, blah, blah. And I swear, the way you were able to change your voice and change your vocal variety was excellent. What I would like you to recommend to work on pretty much in this speech is, first of all, the title of this speech was benefit of body language. I don't think you tied the body of your speech to that topic, so you need to focus on that. Also, if you really look at this speech, if you think about it, did it have a beginning, a middle, and end? I'm not sure you really, I don't know if you rushed this speech, but I didn't see all those layers. My goal here, I'm not going to read it here, is to ensure that the speaker is aware of our intentional and unintentional movement. I thought you did an excellent job. You were pretty much, for everything that you did, you were pretty much doing a move and everything. And I thought that you did excellently well there. So I want to give you kudos. So you did well in the body language part. I think you could rework the speech, you could develop the speech to make it better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deji. Now we'll move to the evaluation of the meeting proper. And to start, I'd like to call on the grammarian to give us our report. Toastmaster Emiola Adeshino, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Oluwatoyin. This was indeed a copacetic meeting. Thank you so much. So I would start with telling you a little bit about the improper grammatical use during the speeches. TM Josephine said something about rounding up a speech or the meeting. So the right word to use here is round off. You don't round up, you round off. Then someone said round over plus. I think I heard that. The right word should be round off R plus. Okay. Then someone also said comedian. Comedian. The correct pronunciation is comedian, not comedian, comedian. Then TM Craig beautifully used a lot of words that I really enjoyed. He's a professional, so I was not expecting less. Unparalleled brilliance. Then he used some quotes. He said something like, your body communicates as well as your mouth. Don't contradict yourself. That is a lovely quote to use there. Then Mobosinola Randall, Tia Mobosinola did a great job by using some idioms. I really loved that. She said, we are sitting on a gold mine, which means we have something that is of great value. That was quite good. She also said, tragedy slipped under the rug. This was another idiom that was really good because it's telling us this is something that people hide from the public. When you hide something from the public or you don't want people to be aware of something. So she used the sentence, tragedy slipped under the rug. Then for the word of the day, copacetic, a lot of people used it and I'm so happy. Thank you for doing that. The winner is, of course, TM Craig. He used the word of the day 6 times. Thank you very much, TM Craig. TM Oluwatoyin was the second. She used the word of the day 4 times. Thank you very much, TM Oluwatoyin. Then TM Chinyere tried to use the word of the day. Thank you for trying. TM Deji and TM Mobosinola used it once. I wish TM Mobosinola had used it maybe 4 or 5 times, considering her speech was quite long, but she used it once. Then TM Mercy George used it twice. The 3rd time, she didn't really get it so well, but well done. So with that, that is my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our timer, for that amazing evaluation. Sorry, our grammarian, I meant to say. Now I'll call on the listening evaluator in the person of Toastmaster Orolua Musa to give our evaluation. Over to you, listening evaluator.
Thank you very much. Hi. Thank you very much. Sorry, I can't switch on my video now. The internet is fluctuating. Thank you very much for Thank you very much for the speeches, and thank you, table topic. I'll be asking some few questions. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day and general evaluator. I will be asking some questions to confirm if we listen to all the topics. So who can tell us, who can give us the answer of who loves to smile? Who is the person that said he or she loves to smile?
Toastmaster Mercy.
Okay, good. Who said losing a mother was the biggest challenge?
Toastmaster Talisha.
Talisha Randall. Oh, sorry. That's Talisha, sorry, not Randall.
No one else is you or has your background. Who said that?
Toastmaster Mobosinola.
Or guest trainer.
Okay. Body language is important. Who's touched on that?
Toastmaster Mercy.
Okay. So obviously we all listened attentively. So give ourselves a round of applause. Just one round of applause. Good. Thank you very much. Too. Looking forward to us improving on our listening skills.
Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call on the R counter to give us our report. Toastmaster Chinyere, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very much, everyone. Indeed, it's been a copacetic meeting, and we've come rounding off gradually. So as an R counter, I'm here to look at the coherency of our speeches, that it does not take away from understanding and distract our paying attention to speeches. So far, I cannot really hold anybody at fault. Of course, Mercy had times where she had pause fillers of using her, even though it did not distract from what she was trying to portray, what she was passing across to us in her speech. Also, Mr. Deji, Toastmaster Deji, I guess I'm right by the name, I'm sorry if I'm not. Mr. Randall, I guess, Toastmaster Randall, also used some as in his speech. However, it did not deviate from the flow of the speech. Our guest speaker, TM Mobosinola, also did a lot of that. As a matter of fact, she did very much of that. And I guess I noticed because I was actually listening out to hear that. However, her speech was very copacetic and it did not distract anybody, I guess. It did not take away from the flow and understanding of the speech. So indeed, it's been a good one so far. I hand over back to the evaluator, please.
Thank you, our counter, for your mindfulness and your apt patience in noting all the pause fillers that was used today. I'd like to finally call on the timer to give our report. Toastmaster Josephine.
Okay, thank you, General Evaluator. Thank you so much. We have been very, very, very copacetic with our time today. In fact, the meeting is going to close before 5 p.m. I've spoken on the time the table topic speaker used. Then for our club training, she spoke, because of the questioning and all that, she spoke for over 30 minutes. Why TM Mercy for the prepared speech, she spoke for 7 minutes, 21 seconds. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. As you can see, or as you must have heard from my team of very competent role players and leaders, the meeting was highly copacetic. We enjoyed ourselves, we were timely, and we all did very well in playing our roles. Thank you so much for everyone. I noticed that we started the meeting on time, which is very commendable. I'd like us to keep it up. I also noticed that all role players were around while being introduced and they were available to take their roles. That is also highly commendable. What I would love us to do better is for us next time, for us to be more involved, I found that a lot of people were not as involved. The Sergeant at Arms asked us to turn on our videos. A lot of people did not want to turn on their videos. Turning on videos during virtual meetings makes it more interactive. Seeing a face while you are speaking encourages the speaker and lets the speaker knows that you are listening. I like us to please bear that in mind the next time we are having our meeting. All in all, it was an amazing meeting. It had very interesting highlights and we all learned a lot from it. Thank you once again. I'd now like to return control to the Toastmaster of the day, who also did incredibly well and made the meeting very lively. Thank you, Toastmaster Craig. Over to you.
Indeed, we cannot see the picture when we are in the frame. The insightful words of Les Brown, the American celebrated motivational speaker. Toastmaster, members of your team, thank you most graciously for the masterclass in public speaking, communication, and leadership in general. Before I control to predispose Toastmasters into context for the convenience of our guests. Toastmasters International organization that planned to exist on the 22nd of October, 1924. It has more than 16,000 clubs that are functional in more than 140 countries across the length and breadth of the world. And what is the rationale of the philosophy behind Toastmasters? The answer is, it is dedicated to the development of the communication, public speaking, and leadership skills of its members. It has been great, it has been fun, but my time here is done. Thank you all very kindly for your time, your cooperation, and for your attention. It's back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Please let's give our Toastmaster of the day a very resounding round of applause. It was amazing having him be the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster Craig. We do hope you honor our invitation whenever we call you again. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. I'd like to welcome once again everyone, but before I give the closing remark, I'd like to have the Toastmaster, the Vice President membership of the LEARNTOR Toastmasters Club talk about what it means to be a member of LEARNTOR just for 2 minutes. And right after, I also like the Vice President Education to talk about how Toastmasters, LEARNTOR Toastmasters will help you and the things you stand to benefit once you are a full member. So to give us the brief on how you can become a full member of the club and the things you need to do as a guest, there's a form you need to fill. To talk more about that, I like Toastmaster Chinyere, our Assistant Vice President membership, to please speak a bit more and address the guest for 2 minutes. Thank you, Toastmaster Chinyere.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Good afternoon once again, everyone. Actually, we're going to have a breakout room for just about the same 2 minutes, please, so that we can really talk. And if it takes further and much more than that, we can conclude on whatever we'll be talking about. A form will be posted for our intending members to please fill out and let us know your commitment, more or less, in joining us. We look forward to having you, but please join the breakout room after the meeting, just for 5 at max 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chinyere, but I'd like you to mention to everyone to also fill the form, maybe drop it in the link, in case some may not be able to wait after the meeting.
Yes, please. The form is going to be dropped in the link just about now. Thank you.
Okay. Please look out for the intending members form and do well to give us your details. Over to you, Toastmaster Shayo, our Assistant Vice President Education. What do we have in stock for full members of the club? I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Should I say Madam President or should I say the General Evaluator? I mean, you've won several hours today, and that's really the beauty of Toastmasters, because Toastmasters, as it were, provides us the opportunity to actually try and continue to develop our speech. So as a member, you are entitled to several stuff, several opportunities to develop yourself. From coming to our meetings, yes, when you participate in our meetings, you have the opportunity. For instance, we had the table topic session. So as a guest, you have the opportunity to actually do that. But as a member, we take that a little bit further. You have the opportunity to sign up to Pathways. You are assigned a mentor. You come to tell us what your goals are. Your mentor will work with you to see that you achieve those goals. So basically, as a member, the benefits are just countless, and it's what you want to achieve from your journey as a Toastmaster that you're really going to achieve. So there are several parts, there are several styles that will fit your style. But what I want to encourage everybody on the call as a guest, you have not taken that decision, the right time to do that is just now. As a member, you have opportunity to actually play roles. For instance, for today, we had several members, not even a member of LEARNTOR Toastmaster. They've had the opportunity to play 1 or 2 roles. For instance, we've got people, our grammarian is not of LEARNTOR Toastmaster, but has used the opportunity today to also learn 1 or 2 things, maybe practice, rehearse some stuff, and just like that, the journey continues and you keep getting better and better. So as a member, you really have that opportunity. You can work with somebody, you can give your speech elsewhere, you can get valuable feedbacks, and you continue to develop yourself. So I'd like to encourage everybody to please take that bold step today and sign up. Maybe when you engage the VP membership, you can ask some questions, and I'm sure they'll be very happy to take those questions and give us very, very, very bespoke answers that will just meet you at your needs. But to take it a step further, if I hand over to the General Evaluator or my President, is you can use the opportunity, you can use our meetings to actually play roles. So for instance, today we've had listening evaluator, we've had we had a timer to actually monitor the time or the timeliness of the meeting and how you play your roles and all that. So we're going to be posting a link to a form for us to actually show us for us to indicate what kind of role you want to play. Do you want to be the Toastmaster of the day? You want to have that spiffing performance like TF Craig had done today? You've got the opportunity to actually do that. So is the general evaluator. You want to learn how to give feedback at work. So you want to use this platform to actually learn how to do people constructive feedback. Yes, our meetings gives you the opportunity to be able to actually do that, practice, and continue to get better. So I'm going to post the link now, and I encourage all of us to drop the details. When you fill the details, we'll work with you, coach you on how to deliver on those roles. Some of us will join and we'll have to pick up all those roles. We just have to just learn on the role. And I can tell you we've done well, and we've actually learned on the job. So, and that's basically what LEARNTOR Toastmasters is all about. We'll give you the opportunity to develop yourself. So thank you very much. Just watch out in the chat box. I'm going to post the link now. Fill in the role you may want to play with, and we are going to work towards preparing you for that role. Thank you very much, my general evaluator.
All right, thank you so much, the Vice President, Academics, Assistant Vice President Education. I like our Vice President Public Relations to speak on how you can connect with us even beyond this meeting, because we realize that a lot of people want to know more, and they want to know how they can see our content or how they can connect with each and every one of us. So Toastmaster Mercy will tell us a bit more on that. Toastmaster Mercy, the virtual lectern is yours for just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, I probably need like 30 seconds. Thank you so much, General Evaluator and our President. So LEARNTOR Toastmaster is on all social channels, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Today's meeting was multicasted on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. So please do kindly follow us on all this channel and help us to amplify. Invite your friends. Toastmaster is one of the best platforms in the world where you can learn soft skills without paying a dime. You learn how to speak by speaking. You learn how to lead by leading. Where LEARNTOR Toastmaster comes in is the introduction of digital technology, where we are producing digitally savvy, effective leaders, and effective communicators. Please follow us, help us to share the content. Today's training, which was amazing. Please, if you came late, go back to our social channel and watch it. Thank you so much. Over to you, the General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my very esteemed and highly competent executives. As you can see, LEARNTOR is a place to be. It's a place of constant learning. The learning does not stop. And that's one thing that I have come to gain from being a member and an executive with LEARNTOR. I do not stop learning. It's the fact that you can translate all the lessons you take from Toastmasters and apply it to your original or real life, your jobs, your interactions with your clients, your life, your family, interactions with your children. It is a very rich bouquet of lessons that can be applied anywhere. We look forward to seeing you at our next meeting, which is next upper week. Yes. So we have our meetings first and third Sundays in the month. So if you're interested in playing a role, please fill the role players form. If you're interested in becoming a member, please fill the intending members form. And also please wait behind all guests. Guests are those who are attending for the first time. Please wait behind so that we can have time to know you better and to connect with you and also help answer all your questions. Our Vice President membership will be available on ground to ensure that all your questions are answered. Indeed, copacetic is a new word I will be adding to my weekly vocabulary. In fact, I am going to use it on my family tonight. I know they will not know the meaning. That's why I come in to shine as a Toastmaster. So it was really an amazing meeting. I look forward to seeing us on the third Sunday, being the 21st. The 20th of this month of June. Thank you so much once again. And please connect with us on all social media spaces. New members or intending members, guests, please wait behind. And we'd love to engage with you. Have a pleasant evening. We would like to take a picture, right?
Yes, please. And
Okay,
this
so
Toastmaster, if anybody have a question for the guest speaker, she's still available. Now the floor is open to everybody. If we can turn our cameras on so I can take a good picture that will be posted on our social, that will be most appreciated. We appreciate our area director for being on call today. Yeah. Yes, the videos, please. Thank you. Anybody coming on? Awesome. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mercy. And thank you once again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, for the breakout room, Mr. President. Breakout room is open. So if you're a new member, kindly join us in the breakout room. Okay.
I'd like to log off from my system. I have low power. I'll join on my phone shortly.
Okay. Click the pop-up on your screen and join the breakout.